What's going on, guys? My name is JERICHO, and I felt like I should do an intro to a video for the first time in years because I'm playing Call of Duty, making a Call of Duty review in 2019. It feels weird, but here we are, and I wanted to wait until I had 24 plus hours of actual in-game time before I made this video. I'm not talking about streaming for 24 hours, like actually playing the game. And the reason I wanted to do that is because your opinion on games and how, they play and everybody's play style and what can and can't be fixed changes so drastically from the first day you play it to the first week to even the first month. So this is my tentative list of things that I enjoy, don't like, things that I think can be changed, can't be changed, and overall comprehensive review of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the reboot of my favorite game of all time. And this is by no means a good review. This is my review as somebody who is not a competitive player, who's not even that really good at the game, but just enjoys having Call of Duty be front and center again in the content that I make. So let's get one thing out of the way. Single player is fantastic, and if you watch my playthrough, you would know how much I enjoyed that. I recommend it to everyone who I can, and this is one of the few single players in a Call of Duty franchise that has actually done more than just kind of be a run-and-gun American sim. It's still a run-and-gun American sim, all right? It is still Russia bad, America good, but it is a very engaging piece of art. I'm going to leave it at that because it is a very gruesome, uncomfortable, and overall interesting campaign that I'm surprised they were able to pull off and in general. And a lot of people that I expected to not enjoy Call of Duty or the single player came back and said to me that they loved it, and it was fantastic. I mean, I think even one of my friends, JP, said it was the best single player first-person shooter experience he's had since, like, Doom. And I was like, well, that's high praise right there. We're talking about the Doom that came out like 3 years ago, by the way. But still, high praise, very high praise. And I think that a lot of that comes down to how the game was built from the ground up on this new game engine, but also the mechanics and the visuals. I've already gone through this and beaten this to a pulp. I love the single player, and I think it is a standout part of this game. So much so that I would buy DLC and play it for the single player, which is weird for me. Now, let's get into multiplayer because this is a very... Actually, you know what? Let's talk about Spec Ops. Spec Ops is inherently broken. I'm not going to play it. I watched people play it the other day because I was getting worried. I wanted to try it out. It was fun in Modern Warfare 3, but it wasn't my favorite game mode. I usually don't like these game modes like zombies as much as some other people do. So I watched people play it, and it was abysmal. I mean, it really is broken. The game has bugs, significant bugs that stop you from being able to even complete some of the missions in the Spec Ops. They have a difficulty level that is so absurd that you're never gonna do it unless you four-man stack it, and even then, it's still too hard. I mean, it is shocking to me that it shipped like that. It's pretty bad. Now, it is fixable. I mean, it is. They can patch it, but for right now, it's not good, and I would just not even spend any time doing it. So now that we got those out of the way, let's talk a little bit about the fixable problems. And actually, you know what? There's no real rhyme or reason. This isn't a fucking review that you're gonna go read on Vice, okay? Or I don't know who does game reviews that are good anymore. Look, this is just my opinion on stuff, okay? Let's start with the maps. I don't like almost any of the maps for any respawn game modes. I think that they're convoluted, they're not well thought out for the general play style that people come to expect from Call of Duty. That's not to say that you can't adapt your play style to the maps, but I think that adapting your play style to these specific maps make it so that the game modes don't fucking work, okay? Like the traditional Call of Duty game modes like Domination, okay, or even Kill Confirmed just don't work in this game due to the play style that you need to have on these maps in order to not even, to have a chance at going positive or even playing the objective. Here's what I mean. Go play Kill Confirmed or TDM. The vast majority, if not every single one of your games, will end with a time limit running out before anything. That is incomprehensible. Right? Everybody has been asking since the dawn of TDM to have a higher kill count because you run through it so quickly. 75 kills, that means one person pops off in your team and the game's over in 4 minutes, right? But not in this game. Not in this game. And I think that because of the way the maps flow, or don't flow for that matter, you're forced to not take risks. I think that there's multiple things that contribute to this, whether it's the time to kill or the fact that there are so many doors that behind every single corner you could have a claymore that will instantly kill you. I think that there's a lot of things that can be said and pointed to and say, like, this is a contributing factor, but the maps are the big one. Let's talk about Piccadilly for a little bit, okay? In Search and Destroy, this map is actually pretty fun. It's got a nice open middle space with plenty of little areas to hide in, but also play the objective, to sneak around. Overall, I think Piccadilly is a fun map to play on in a non-respawn game mode. But in Domination, it is so badly designed that I'm struggling to figure out if these people who have made the spawns, who have made the flag points, have ever fucking played a game in their entire life. Like, even just looking at the layout of the map, you can tell off the start that if you're spawning, I think it's A flag, if you're spawning down there, you're done for. The easiest spawn trap in the history of Call of Duty leading up to this point, I believe, was either firing range, what was it? The demolition firing range spawn trap, where they were back in the I don't know where to call it. You know which one I'm talking about. Or the bog spawn trap, where you just didn't pass in front of the bus and there were only two places they could spawn. Those two spawns were easy to camp. This game has a 4-mile long tunnel with 2 exits, where all you have to do is watch both exits and then have 3 people sit in the middle and you win. Like, it is incomprehensible how they let that get through, and it's fixable, I guess. You just move where the flags are. I mean, there's infinitely better places to put them, but I'm not a map designer, so don't come to me with suggestions or for suggestions. Let's talk about the map. I can't remember. It's the one with 900 doors and rooms, okay? It's like if you could go into every building in favela. There's the underneath the B, or by the B flag, I guess, on Domination, there's like 6 doors, okay? There's 6 of them. And inside these rooms, like, there's 4 or 5 places that you can put a claymore that you wouldn't be able to see because you're just walking past it. And the claymore explodes and it kills anything in that room because the room's so small. And it's like, whew, man, it just doesn't work for the typical game modes that you're gonna play. That said, that map is fun for search. I think that there are the complex maps, the maps with multiple angles, the maps with multiple places where you can get shot, which is every one of them, but specifically these, play well for slower game modes. They do. It's like, I feel like I'm playing Rainbow Six or Counter-Strike, where I'm checking 4 angles before I like slowly walk around and try and play the objective. But when you have to play a game that is all about controlling the map, and you can't control the map because you're worried about controlling 13 rooms inside of one building, it means that there's no way for you to gauge the way that the enemy's playing, because you're so focused on getting from B flag to C flag, and you have to clear out every single room, that by the time you get out of there, the enemy team is already flipping your spawn. That is my problem with these maps. That I've droned on a lot about them. They're not fixable for the spawns, all right? I mean, for the game modes. They're just not. The maps inherently aren't. I think that they are good for certain game modes, but others they're not. And the only way that I see this being as a beneficial thing for the Call of Duty franchise is when they, you know, I don't know if you saw the leaks, 38 map files, is if they bring in more maps that are traditional 3 lanes. And you know what? Fuck it. Like, mix them in. Like, I don't care if I play the same 19 maps from the last 10 Call of Duties, all right? I don't. I'm happy about that. I'm fine with it. And I'm not even asking you to remove the current maps. I'm just saying that it would be cool to have them in map, like in game-specific map pools, just like we do with the 2v2 gunfight map or the 10v10 Dom maps, right? I think that that's a potential fix. But overall, the maps are my least favorite map pool in any Call of Duty, and that makes me really upset. You know, the search and destroy bomb sites and stuff, they're not placed well. Almost every single map has a place where you can just bum rush the bomb and plant it before the enemy can even set up to deny you the plant. I think that that's a fixable thing. You know, you change where the bomb sites are, and this all comes down to, well, is Infinity Ward going to be a developer that does weekly or bi-weekly patches to help the game's quality of life improve, or are they going to be like a traditional Call of Duty dev team and do this like month to month at most? That's where this gets a little rocky. They've already, to their credit, patched the game with some significant updates. The fix to dead silence, the change to battle chatter, which I still don't think is fixed. Like, at the very least, they're doing something, and the game only has been out for a week, so let's not freak out too much here. But I'm praying that they use this incredible game that they have built as groundworks to change up their, I guess, their mentality on how the game should play a little bit and just kind of bring it closer to center. There's a lot of good mechanics that they've added that I think are great. Like, I actually love the door peek mechanic. I do. I actually love the fact there are doors in Call of Duty. There's just too many of them, and you can't destroy them. So it's weird. They create like a choke point of power. I think that the time to kill is fine. I think as long as we look at the M4 and we start to slowly balance that weapon out across the others, you're going to see people use more and more weapons. Like, I love the AK. I think the Scar is really good. I think the Odin is really good. I think that there are very few worthless weapons in this Call of Duty. There's just several incredible standout ones that can be brought in line to, you know, and instead of buffing everything, we just nerf a couple things to create I guess a less of a meta and more of a general AR versus SMG meta instead of like M4 725 versus everything else meta. And they've said they're looking at it. I just hope they look at it in the way that I want it, and not in the way that the dev probably will look at it like, well, I don't see any problem, man. We like strong weapons. Like, okay. There are several weapons that are useless. The FAL is one of them because it has no point. There's no point at all. It's a single fire weapon that has more recoil than any of your fully auto laser beams, especially when those fully auto laser beams are put on single fire. Use the AK. The AK kills in the same amount of bullets with the exception of maybe the headshot multiplier that you get with the FAL. But why would you not use something that has less recoil and more ammo and does the same amount of damage over the FAL, which doesn't have an auto option? And then I remember somebody being like, yo, dude, just play until you get the burst. It's awesome. Weapon level 52 on the FAL, first of all, so no. Second of all, just use the FAMAS. It's got less recoil. It kills in one burst to the chest, just like the FAL. Like, what is the benefit of using a single fire weapon in this game mode? Like, thank God that the MK2, the carbine, is fun to use, and it's actually pretty good, even though it got nerfed. Because, like, what's the point? The Kar 98, it's fun to use. It's still a little bit marshmallowy, and I'd like to see a buff, but, like, at least it's enjoyable to use. Nobody's going to use the M14 or the FAL over it. It's just not. There's no benefit outside of maybe playing in hardcore. Well, that's fine. I just would like to see some buffs for that. Same with the mini Uzi. Shoots really slow. I mean, like, it doesn't really have any benefit over the Bison or the MP5 or the AUG. So I'd like to see some sort of quality of life change for these weapons that are just not getting any playtime. Last but not least, and I think I should have covered this with the map stuff, but nobody plays the objective like they used to in Call of Duty. And I do blame the maps for that, but also in more significant blame game, I guess I'll say. It comes down to the fact that there's no incentive. The points that you get for playing the objective are not comparable to playing just for kills. For ranking up, like, really the only reason to play, I know this is going to sound weird, the reason that you'd play the objective in this game is solely to win. Which most people would be like, yeah, dude, that's the fucking point. But not really for a lot of Call of Duty players. A lot of Call of Duty players play to rank up, play to get the most points. Like, the amount of games that I won in Kill Confirmed, like 65 to 25 when the time ran out. But the entire enemy team has like 28 kills each. And you're just like, what the fuck is the point? Like, there's no reason to. There's no scoreboard info for domination that shows how many people are capping and defending. What? There's no deaths in TDM. What the fuck? The whole point of the game is to go positive. So if you don't know if you're going positive or who isn't going positive, how are you gonna? It's what? Who thinks of this? There's no confirms and denies in Kill Confirmed. Leaving these out does nothing for the game. I don't care about bullying people on deaths. Okay, I'm gonna bully people if they're just sucking dick. I'll bully people who beat my ass in the game. You know, it's Call of Duty. People are always going to be toxic, but like to basically remove one of the info points that you need in order to win the game is insane. I don't understand it, and they haven't addressed this at all, and it's making me go crazy. And so I think that this overall, I don't want, at the risk of making this a 20-minute video, this game overall is a fantastic baseline Call of Duty. I would say that I am having more fun in this Call of Duty with gunplay, with the ability to unlock all these different weapon attachments that drastically change the gun for the most part. I would say that this game has the potential to be my favorite Call of Duty of all time, and that is a weird statement for me because I have not been on the Call of Duty train for the last like 6 years. Even though I've enjoyed some of the Call of Duty games that have come out, none of them have hit the same at all. But that is all based on the fact that this is largely in the developers' hands. It is down to them to determine how they want to make this game move forward, and if they want to stick with a certain, I guess like ideal of how to change the game and patch the game. If the devs are looking at the way the game is being played and the weapon spread, and trust me, they have data to see who's using what weapon and how much this weapon is being used across the game, etc. If they're happy with the way that this is panning out, this game will frustrate me to the point where I will not want to play it, even though it is a fantastic feeling and playing game. And that's disappointing. But I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt because they've already done some quality of life changes in the first week of the game launch, and there's probably not enough data from from the player base yet to make a very educated guess. I know that sounds weird, but really, it's only been a week. There's some weapons that are standout. There's some weapons that can be hotfixed. There's some things that can be changed. But there's also not a lot of info outside of that, like hot zone or like a heat map, right? A heat map for the game showing exactly where the gunfights are going. I still think they need like a week or two to figure that out and start adjusting spawn points for some of the less broken maps. And that's just the nature of game dev. And then those have to go through, an approval process. So there may be fixes for some of the things I've complained about already. But again, this game feels incredible. I want them to succeed more than anything because if they do go down the route of adding a free Battle Royale game, this game could be a main game for me. A Call of Duty game could be a main game for me. Like, I'm addicted to unlocking skins in this game right now. I'm addicted to leveling up weapons and seeing what's fun. I love game battles in this game. I like sweating. I like playing with my friends. I like going for stupid shit. I like 2v2. I didn't even talk about 2v2. Gunfight is so much fun. Like, there are so many different ways to play this. And outside of, I didn't even talk about ground war. I hate it. Some people love it. It's fucking awful. I hate it. But the fact that you can have people who love and only play ground war, and then people who love and only play night vision, and people who love and only play 2v2, this is a very exciting time for Call of Duty. And it all comes down to how the developers are going to make things work. How are they going to change the game? How are they going to keep things the way they want it to kind of flow without making too much of an issue for everyone? They need to change things without alienating those that already love the game, but also change things in a significant way that make people enjoy certain aspects more, right? I guess it's kind of like, anybody can make a good chicken sandwich, but it's like, can you make the best chicken sandwich with your ingredients, or is it just going to be, all right, is it just gonna be okay? That's a weird analogy. Basically, this game has incredible potential, and it's been a long time since I've wanted to just play and grind for weapons. I truly played with so many more people that I normally don't play with. Call of Duty really brought that communal feeling back with me and my friends. Not even just content creators, but school friends, high school friends, people that work in the music industry, everyone. Call of Duty, this one specifically, has enough for everyone in every type of player that I'm going to be shocked if they fail. I think this is the best Call of Duty in a long time, and I think it has the potential to be the best for me. So that said, that is my comprehensive review. It's not even a review, it's just like a discussion. Like I said, I'm not a reviewer, but I'm passionate about this, and it's weird for me to feel passionate about Call of Duty again. This game is wonderful, and I recommend it to anyone that likes Call of Duty or Battlefield. And for $60, they need to fix Spec Ops. They do. But we'll see how they come, and change things as we move forward. Maybe I'll make another video 1 month or 2 months into the game cycle and see how we feel. But thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Sorry for the 20-minute video. And as always, I will see you guys hopefully soon.